Okay, so that's the starting point. Okay, so that's the message of Jesus. He rises from the dead. And while he's with his disciples, he picks these ordinary people and he says, you're the ones. You are going to go and make disciples of all nations armed with a message of hope, and not the gates of hell will not stand against the hope of this message and the reality of the power of God. Malcolm Gladwell says the education in America has gone down the strong link and completely disregarded the weak link. But now, it's interesting, ministry doesn't conform quite like that. Jesus set up ministry, but he had a weak link strategy. He got ordinary people, and he figured out how to train them. It wasn't the superstars, the mega church ministers that he set up. It was, how do 12 ordinary guys get into ministry? So he trains them. Now, in my day, it was a strong link strategy, and there was basically one thing you could do, and that one thing was to be a reverend. And I was in the Christian Reformed Church, and there was one slot, and that one slot was to be a reverend. In fact, you could not officiate a wedding in the Christian Reformed Church unless you completed 7 or 8 years of college and seminary. That was the box. The box was the box. The box had been the box for 500 years. It will be in the last days, says God, that it will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Yes, even on my servants, on my handmaidens. In those days, I will pour out my spirit, and they will prophesy. What we just saw there was a quote from Joel. And you know what we just heard? We said it's a weak link strategy. It will be the old and the young. It will be the men and the women. It will be the low class, the handmaidens, the lowest of the low class. And it will be the sons and daughters of the elite. It will be anyone that the Lord our God will call.
And in 2021, I thought, God wants me to share this hope and this joy. I can't afford that. God, if you will show me a way to do that, I will do the work. I just can't pay for it. And I found CLI in 5 minutes of that prayer. Well, on my prep period at school, I'm a school teacher. And the very first class I found was the one I needed. I was so worried that I would not be accepted as a woman in ministry. And I found Dr. Osek's class on women leaders in the New Testament. And my life has been an extraordinary journey ever since. So this women's ministry certificate means more to me than you can possibly imagine. And I want to thank all of you. Thank you.
You were born for this. And right now, we just need to pick up, and we have given to the President Murienga, thank God for the vision. Thank God for what got raised up, because there is a place people can go to right now to begin getting equipment from their phone, from their computer, from the remote places in Africa and Zambia and Tanzania. I'm talking to all of them, Kenya. I'm talking to these people from everywhere.
As I listened to all the testimonies tonight, that everyone said the same thing, the Word of God. When we study the Bible, when we study that Word, Jesus is becoming a part of our soul. And when we go through the storms and the waves of life, we're anchored. So being a part of Christian Leaders Institute isn't about just getting this award or being ordained. It helped me to be anchored. It helps us all to be able to stand in that storm or ride through that storm and get that peace and get that Jesus, that logos, that word, that living word, the living word of God. I realize that sometimes we're gonna be tossed to and fro. But in the Word of God, I've got an anchor. But in the Word of God, I've got an anchor. So my soul has been